Okay, so we're gonna build a lasagna today. So I took this is just part of the filling, ricotta cheese. Please don't use um, cottage cheese. A lot of people do, but ricotta is just a better flavor. So I put 2 eggs in here, and I'm gonna beat those up. Just a quick beat of them. And then all you're gonna do is you're gonna add your ricotta to it. And I use Galbani's. And this is a 32 ounce. And if it was the 14 ounce, then I would just go ahead and do 1 egg, but it's the 32 ounce, so you need 2 eggs to bind it. And so as you get this in here, probably should have used a bigger bowl. But anyway, put some fresh cracked pepper in there. Then I do fresh cracked sea salts. And then I put just a touch, 3-4 dashes of, probably more than that, but just a little bit of Italian seasoning in there. And then you're gonna get that all together, and you're gonna get it all bound together. And yes, as you mix it, it looks gross, but it really is tasty when you get it all together. So it is mixing together, it's coming together. And what's gonna do is the egg is gonna bind it so it isn't so melty when it gets into the lasagna. And it stays more like it should, which is a firmer cheese. It's still gonna have the creaminess, it's still gonna have the delicious flavor, but it's gonna definitely improve it to have it this flavor. I don't like the cottage cheese. I mean, yes, cottage cheese is cheaper than buying the ricotta, but it's not that much cheaper nowadays because, as we all know, all those prices are going up. But now that it's all bound and you can see it's all put together, that's gonna go on the layer. I've got right now, I've made my own tomato sauce, and I made a meat sauce. And the meat sauce is gonna be the base, is gonna be the meat and the sauce together to take care of building your lasagna. So it is really the best, and I prefer meat sauce to just regular sauce if you're talking about a lasagna. It's also really good if you're talking about just if you want a meaty sauce over spaghetti or linguine or pappardelle. It's whatever you want to do. So this is all bound together, and you see it's kind of glossy a little bit, and that's from the egg. And then we're going to move on to building our lasagna. The lasagna has to rest the sauce needs to rest another 10 minutes. You don't want it to be super flaming hot right off the stove. You want it to have cooled down some. So I usually let my sauce rest for about 30 minutes, and then I go ahead and build my lasagna. Next steps are I always do a little oil spray just to make sure it doesn't stick when you want to get it out. Now, what I'm also going to do is I always take some sauce, and I put, even though it's a meaty sauce, I put a little layer of it down. And then you just go ahead and spread it out. And that way there is plenty of sauce underneath the noodles. It helps moisturize the noodles, but it also helps with the sticking. And I just think those bottom layers need some love too, so got to put that on there. So with this pan, I do the oven ready lasagna noodles. I know anybody who's Italian out there might just go, ah! But I'm telling you, these work really well. And I'm very surprised at how really well they work. So you just kind of put them together. I always just a little bit overlap. And on some of these, it's going to be going to seem like, oh, a little bit more of an overlap. And then I do these here. So I've got 6 of them that go down there. And it usually takes to do the layers, it usually takes the full box or a box and a half. So after I get that down, then I go ahead and take my ricotta. You're just going to take a big couple scoops of it, and you're going to smooth that out. As you can see, you're going to kind of have to hold your noodles a little bit. As it builds on the first layer, you have to kind of, hold it in place for some of it. But as you get further along in the building process, they start sticking together a little bit more. And then another scoop right here. And you make sure that all gets right there. You get cheese everywhere. So then the next thing you do is you take your sauce, which I'll have to get more sauce. This is 4 cups of sauce, but I'm gonna be honest and tell you that you're gonna need more than that. And then you just spread out your sauce. Now I've got the oven heating up. I always bake mine at 400. Package on here says 375, but yeah, that's not how I do it. I always do it at 400, especially since we're at a higher altitude. So it means that you end up with, and I just have some mozzarella cheese. And now we're gonna spread out our mozzarella. And usually it's a 2-cup bag, and yes, that's right folks, we just used almost 2 cups. Well, we'll just use the rest of the 2 cups. We're cheese people. If you're a cheese person, trust me, you'll like this. There you go. Thank you, sweetie. So then we go with our next layer. And that's going to be your 2 here. And then you're going to be 4 across here. Okay. And then you're going to do a large portion of the ricotta. So that's done, and now we're going to put some more sauce on there. Honey, can you put more sauce in that? And so you spread out that sauce again. And there you go. Now you're going to put some more cheese down, more mozzarella. Thank you, Ben. So now on this layer, which you're going to say, oh, you're at the top here. Well, you pretty much are. I get a little, I'll be honest, I get a little carried away on my lasagnas. I love my lasagnas and get an opportunity to do it. It's been a while since I made one. It's been a lot of time cooking, period, but I really enjoy making lasagna. So anything that's my Italian dishes that are family, they're pretty much family. So you're going to kind of press this down a little bit because you want to make sure you got that, you got room for just that final layer. And I like to make sure
that's the Barilla oven ready lasagna.
So I love to just do this final layer, and it's going to be a little thinner, but it's still going to taste great. Huh?
I'll leave them out.
Yep. And then this is where you list that last dollop there in that corner. There you go. And I'm going to take and I'm going to hand this bowl, sturdy bowl, to Chris. And then I'm going to put some sauce. Now, I do something a little different on this last step. I don't do the mozzarella on this layer. I do it on the top layer, which I'll just lay out in a minute. So here's the sauce. And there you go. And then you take this final layer and you put this again right there. I'm making it a little heavier on the noodles.
And what size pan?
I'll be honest and tell you I don't know what size pan this is. I didn't even look.
It's a 9 by 13.
Probably is a 9 by 13. So, now we have this top layer of noodles. And now we're going to take the meat sauce again. And I'm going to pour it on there. And spread it out. You can see those nice chunks of meat.
That's enough. I don't know if that's enough.
So then you got all that done. So now you have your final thing of cheese. I know y'all, we're cheesy people. And probably somebody's gonna be like, this is 1,000,000 calories.
Hey, speak for yourself.
And I'm gonna tell you it is. It's not low in calories, but it's not as bad for you as you think. So now so there you go. It's a little bit messy when I get done, but not anything we can't wipe up. Here. And then what I do is I cover it. And you cover it. I usually do with aluminum foil, but parchment paper will do too. And just go ahead and make sure. Now this will sit, I'll have this sit for 10 minutes before I stick it in the oven and just kind of let everything mesh together for at least 10 minutes. It's been in for 40 minutes and now I took the parchment paper off of it and let it get a little golden. Turn off the oven, don't forget that. And then it rests for 10 minutes and then you can go ahead and dig in, but it has to rest for 10 minutes for all the juices and the flavors to kind of get back together. Like you let a steak rest, you let this rest. Okay, and so we'll cut some in 10 minutes. Here we are gonna cut it open. How big you want it, babe? Like here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Big chunk. I know it's good.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
There you go.